Today we are going to be going over our Sheep Esports staff power rankings for the LEC season in 2025. Now, I do want to start out by saying these are preseason power rankings. I know we have a couple of games under our belt at this point, but this was made just right before the season started. I just hadn't had time to cover it yet. And I will also say that I did not contribute to these power rankings. We put out like a Google Doc or something like that in our group chat. I tried to click on it. I didn't have access. Nobody wanted to give me access, so I did not contribute to however good or bad this power ranking is. Keep that in mind when you are flaming us or saying whatever you have to say. Obviously, we have a lot of talented, lot of awesome people at Sheep Esports who are very great at their jobs and doing what they do, but some of them know ball and some of them almost certainly do not. So kind of keep that in mind before we get into this list. At number 10, we do have Team Heretics. Now, I know this is a very, very popular team to have at the bottom of a lot of people's lists right now, but for me, I don't know. I've always been moving them up at least a couple of different spots. I think this team does have a couple really, really bright points that interest me a lot, and at least I'm going to be tuning into their games because I'm excited about Kamilu. I'm excited about Shio. These are two really, really fun players. Kamilu is a guy who I know a lot of people believe in a lot as like a really, really hyped up and highly touted prospect that could hopefully be, one of the next great mid laners in the LEC. I think that's an awesome storyline. I hope he pans out. I want it to work out. That would be awesome. And then Shio, I still can't even believe he ended up on Team Heretics. I think he should have got a lot more interest and a lot more pull from a lot of these higher ranking teams in the LEC. I think it was a huge pickup. I think it's a massive pickup. I think those two guys are going to be able to win at least, a handful of games for Team Heretics, and I think they're going to end up finishing higher than 10th. I don't know. That's just me, but like I said, I know it's popular to put Heretics at 10 right now. I'm just a little bit higher on them than other people and a little bit lower on some of these other teams. Next up at number 9, we have SK Gaming. Also, this graphic is so clean. I really, really like, the whole background aesthetic with the Sheep Esports stuff, but then also the team logos, the team names. I think this looks dope. I think we have some really, really, like I said, talented people doing a great job at a lot of different stuff over at Sheep Esports. SK Gaming at number 9. Now for me, this is maybe one of the teams I would consider putting 10th. I think they had a very, very bad offseason. Going from Irrelevant and Niski to JNX and Reeker, to me, are both downgrades. I think Reeker and JNX are both solid players. They're fine. They're serviceable, but they're not too insane. Obviously, you have Yzma and Rahel returning, and you have Loopy in the bot lane, which I do think was an upgrade, but overall, I think this team was kind of mid and then got worse, and they lost two of their very, very most important players. I could definitely see this team finishing 9th or 10th, so I don't think 9 is criminal. I don't think 9 is horrible. I think it's fine. We have SK there. At number 8, it's already peeking out a little bit, so I can see who this is going to be. This is going to be Rogue. And again, hey, we do have now the foresight of a couple of different games being played, but I still think even at the time, 8 for Rogue would have been a little bit too low for me. At the end of the day, they do have some players who have won a lot of LEC games. They do have some very, very talented individual players. I know Rogue frustrated the hell out of all of us this offseason. They were really, really, really lame in the fact that they waited all the way to the end of the offseason. They were trying to sell their slot. They didn't end up selling it. They weren't able to. They're still trying to, whatever. And we know that we wanted them to put together a roster sooner and get things done. But still, they actually ended up, I think, with an okay team. Just in the fact that you have Adam and Larson is very, very, very strong. You have a couple of other serviceable players, guys like Patrick and Execute. And I know Malrong maybe is not coming off the best year. It sounds like he didn't go to the CB LOL and do very well over in Brazil, but he has previous kind of synergies and stuff with Larson, and they were very, very successful together and got a lot of things done and won some games. I'm not saying Rogue is going to compete for an LEC title or anything like that, but I'm just saying, do they deserve to be 8th? I don't know. I would maybe have them closer to 7, 6, somewhere in there. 8 just seems a little bit too low, especially when I know some of the teams that we have above them on this list as well. Number 7, we do have Team Vitality. This one actually did surprise me a little bit. It seems like a lot of people are very, very high on guys like Nagnako, guys like Chayek, which, hey, they've been off to an okay start. They're looking kind of clean. You have Linkus in the jungle who, can be a beast at times. Obviously, Karzi and Hillsang in the bot lane is a bot lane that people are very, very, very fond of, but still, to me, this Team Vitality team, there's just too many questions. There's too much reliance on young players, on rookies in very, very important positions. You have no idea how those guys are ever going to pan out, especially when they don't, have like a really strong kind of nucleus around them somewhere. I don't know. The Team Vitality roster, just for me, at least on paper, hasn't really made as much sense. And again, 7 just seems a little bit too high. This team, I would definitely have closer to 9th or 10th than I would to like the middle of the pack. So I was just a little bit surprised to see Team Vitality this high. But hey, if all these new guys come in and they pop off, Karzi and Hillsang can be a beast. Hey, it's possible. I could see it. I don't think that's the direction that things are going to be going. I would say that I think Rogue and Heretics have a better chance of finishing 7th than Team Vitality does. But hey, that's just me. Maybe I'm the idiot. Maybe I'm going to get proven wrong. We'll have to wait and see. At number 6, we have BDS. And again, I've been saying this for a while. I still think this would probably be a little bit low for BDS for me. I think this BDS team on paper looks great. They had a good offseason. Going out and getting Irrelevant, going out and getting Peruse are two very, very, very big pickups. I know people hate how I say that, but I honestly don't know how to pronounce it. Whatever. Yes, 113 in the jungle is a very, very big question mark. But the 4 other players on this team are looking insanely strong. Irrelevant, Nuke, Ice, Peruse. That is a nice nucleus of a team. That is very, very, very good. And guess what? 113, he's a talented player. He might not have, his greatest decision making or stuff like that all the time. But if they can rein him in at all, if they can help him, get some of that stuff done, this BDS team is really, really, really good. I think 6 is too low. I would definitely have them in the 4 to 5 range, and they could honestly be my dark horse team for potentially making it to Worlds in 2025 if a lot of the stuff clicks and 113 can be as good as they're obviously hoping for. And hey, they see something in 113. They went and signed him for a reason. Now, hey, do teams make roster building mistakes sometimes? Do they get the wrong player sometimes? Yeah. But again, there was other options out there that they could have ended up with in the jungle. There's still some very, very talented, even unsigned players out there. The fact they ended up with 113, they believe he fits into this team, into this organization somehow. But even if 113 is just kind of mid, I still think this team can win a lot of games. I still think this team is very, very, very talented. At number 5, we do have Giant X. Now, again, for me, I would have BDS ahead of Giant X. I don't know about you guys, but Giant X, we have Locke, Closer, Jackie's, Noah, and June. Obviously, bringing over that Fnatic bot lane is very, very, very fun. Jackie's continuing to develop, looking to have another, hopefully solid and year of growth in 2025. Closer, a player that a lot of people are going back and forth on. I know some people are a little bit higher on him, some people a little bit lower on him. Lot, also a little bit of a question mark. This team has talent on paper. They look fun. They look interesting. But is the roster altogether strong enough to get enough done? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, a lot of it's going to depend on, how far Noah and June can carry this team, how much Jackie's continues to develop, how solid Lot's going to be. But I don't know. I'm still a little bit hesitant to put this team over BDS when I just see how much I think BDS just has more talent on paper than Giant X does. But I think Giant X has an interesting roster for sure. And I don't, I think obviously it's close. Number 4, we have Corp, and hey, after seeing a couple games into the season so far, this might be criminally low to have Corp. I don't know. Corp coming out of the gates looking very, very, very hot. Obviously, Kana, Yike, Vladdy, Callista, and Targamas. A lot of exciting things going on at Corp. Callista's looked like a B so far to start the year. Yike still looking like he might be the best jungler in the LEC. That's been fun. Kana coming out, improving a lot right off the bat, and Targamas silencing some of the haters. Targamas starting off the year really, really, really strong. I think a lot better than people did expect. And if people knew Targamas was going to look as good as he did these first couple of games and knew that Yike was maybe still going to be the best jungler in the LEC, I think people would have had Corp a little bit higher. And I think if people could redo their power rankings right now, I do not think Corp would be at 4. But obviously, I don't want to use the power of the first couple of games that we've seen to influence this at all. I would have had Corp around 4, somewhere like that. So I think that's fine. And number 3, we have Mavi Star Koi. And yeah, this is going to be the big rivalry and the big matchup the whole year. And ultimately could be, deciding who does end up going to Worlds. Obviously, that's assuming that G2 bounces back and still ends up being a strong team this year. The race between Movistar and Corp, their matches are going to have insane viewership. The rivalry is going to be crazy between the two teams. French and Spanish, Jojo Pune and Vladdy, all this different stuff, and also fighting for a world spot. If we do get a Movistar Koi Corp series, like best of 5 to this, and the winner goes to Worlds, that's going to break records. That's going to put up numbers. That's going to be insane. I do think Movistar Koi has a really, really fun and exciting team on paper. I think Jojo Pune was overhated last year. I think Movistar's getting an absolute beast of a mid laner. I think Jojo's going to have a huge year in the LEC this year. And yeah, I think their team is very, very, very strong. Now, number 2, we do have G2 Esports. The Sheep Esports power rankings are not G2 enjoyers, bumping them down to number 2, and I don't hate this. I do think G2 potentially got worse at 2 different positions in the offseason, especially with how good we've seen Yike start to begin the season, which I had already been saying. I thought, Skewmon is very, very likely to be a downgrade over Yike. Yike was a very, very good player, but even the bigger downgrade in support was potentially going to be LeBrav over Mickey. Mickey's the best LEC support, best West Western support, one of the best support players of all time. Replacing him is not going to be easy, especially right off the bat. I'm sure G2 will learn and develop and grow over the course of the year, but making this thing click right off the bat, especially if you ended up with a less talented team on paper, that's easier said than done. I know you got Broken Blade. I know you got Caps. I know you have G2 and their aura and all that stuff, but I think the Fnatic team is very, very talented on paper. I think G2 got a little bit worse, and I think people are always gunning for G2 in general, and it's also hard for them to get up and care about the regular seasons as much when, they're a team that's already won everything. They won 3 titles in 2024. They just want to hurry up and get to these international events. They got to focus on the regular season first, and Sheep Esports does have Fnatic here at number 1. Now, obviously, Fnatic on paper has a lot of talent. They're a super crazy team. Mickey and Upset in the bot lane were 2 huge pickups, but obviously their consistency of some different players, guys like Mickey, guys like Humanoid, and just how good is Oscar? Is Oscar good enough to carry this team far enough? Those are some of the questions we're going to have to wait and see and have answered throughout the course of this 2025 LEC season, but at least for now, Sheep Esports has Fnatic at number 1 as the favorites coming into the LEC season. How's it going to pan out? How's it going to play out? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Hopefully, catch you in the next one. Let us know what you thought about our list. Let us know what you think we got right, what we got wrong. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.